now let's start here. I know that 10 million that's a big number, and you'd need a lot of cooperation. You might even need some cooperation with domestic producers. Do you think that the rest of the oil producers would demand something in return from the United States to get to that number of 10 or 15 million barrels a day?
It is a very big number, and I do think OPEC, Saudi Arabia, Russia probably could not do it alone. I mean, if you look at what world demand is right now, we're anticipating in the month of April, it's going to be about 80 million barrels a day. That's down from about 100 million barrels a day. So what we're dealing with now is really a demand crisis on top of a supply crisis. But about 80% of this, in our estimates, is really a demand problem because of the coronavirus.
Okay, so there are articles being written now, and I'm just going to quote one of them here. President Trump is now seen, and I think CNBC wrote this, seen as a moderator in the world oil talks, as he's going to meet with these CEOs today. And he's, yesterday he said he spoke to MBS, spoke to Putin. Is he the moderator? Will he be effective? Can he extract things that, I mean, he may use a little arm twisting too, I would imagine, with the Saudis at least. Will he be successful at putting something together?
Look, we are very encouraged by what the president has been doing. We think he's in the right place right now. He's working with the Saudis. He's working with the Russians. And I think that there's great unity in this industry, that it's important that we work with our allies to make sure that these markets are well balanced. But at the same time, we also have to remember that the supply issue is one problem, but the biggest issue is demand. And until we get through the coronavirus crisis, I think we're in for a prolonged downturn within these markets.
You think that the urgency of the situation in terms of where prices are could get these disparate entities that don't get along a lot of times? And I mean, it's hard to imagine that, but could you see them come together to try to support something that's in the common interest at this point? And could we get to 10?
Yes.
We just heard 15. Is that possible?
Yeah,
I think we've seen, they said maybe 6.
I think what you're seeing here is that no one's benefiting from prices at this level. The Saudis aren't benefiting. The Russians aren't benefiting. So I think what you're seeing here is people acting within their common interest, that we have to get these markets rebalanced. And the best way to do it is for production to come down in the short term. But I think the key point here is that, American producers, we're not operating within a dictatorship. We don't have the ability for, one person to come in and say that the price should be X. So at this point, we're working within a free market system within the United States, not in a dictatorship that can demand what a certain price of oil should be.
All right, Mike, you're the president of the API. I guess maybe we should get Kilduff or something. You can't comment on whether, if you see the market yesterday jump like that, biggest one-day gain ever, and then you see all the skepticism that the numbers are greeted with by a lot of people in the business. Why didn't the market? Do you have an opinion why the market didn't back off, or why it seems to be counting on this or believing in this, at least at this point? Do you figure something's going to happen?
I do. I mean, I do think we take the president at his word that he's had great conversations with both the Saudis and the Russians. And I do expect that there's going to be action as a consequence of that. And the United States, of course, has great leverage, particularly with Saudi Arabia. So we're very encouraged by what the president is doing. And I think we're excited to hear more about those conversations at our 3 o'clock meeting today.